Okay, I've started recording. You can start.
Good evening, everyone. You're most welcome for today's session. I'm happy to see all of you. And today we are looking at strengthening peer-to-peer learning. My name is Isabella Osiemo. I'm a PsyD clinical psychologist. And today we are training on peer-to-peer learning. Welcome. In today's session, we're going to learn on how to share what we have, its importance, where it takes place and how, its benefits and for upcoming scholars, and how to grow through sharing in such forums. The peer-to-peer learning knowledge skills are built through active interaction with the people of the same discipline, of similar status, and of course have similar interests, such as all of us in this forum. This has been proved, sharing has been proved to be effective by various theorists who believe that when you share, you benefit much more than when you are doing it alone. Hence, our learning today on how to share and learning. What are the benefits of peer-to-peer learning? We share so that we promote our exposure to others, to know that we are there, what we know, and what we can share, so that when they are stuck, they know who to talk to through exposure. And of course, it gives us an opportunity to identify ourselves as valuable experts in our own areas. It also helps us to grow. We stay motivated to do that which we are meant to do, and also we are recognized. And this, of course, gives us a sense of purpose in the group of peer-to-peer learning. Why peer-to-peer learning? Is there a reason why we should, as peers, come together to learn? Yes, there is a big reason. It promotes active learning. When you're sharing, you continually are learning from others. You also, it reinforces your individual learning. It is very encouraging, and you feel that you are on the right track. High achievement through sharing. Unless, of course, you share, you will know what you know and what you don't know. But you achieve more by interacting with others. What is best outcome of that? Your self-esteem is raised, or it is emphasized in the way you present your work, the knowledgeable expert in your way, in your field, and everybody looks up to you as someone who has something to share. Of course, the relationship you form with others through sharing, it's very, very, very supportive. You can never miss anyone, especially when you come to stuck points. You have your peer a way forward. How then and where do we do peer and peer learning? Where does it take place? How does it, first of all, take place? Through experiential. You gain experience through sharing and learning, and therefore you promote your own personal growth. You become alive and very, very relevant. And also it becomes very pleasurable because you always look forward to getting from others, and that becomes pleasurable. It is no longer going against the grain, but rather that it is very pleasurable and you enjoy doing it. And where does this take place then? A forum such as where we are sitting now at the East Africa, one of them among many others. It can also be one-on-one with whoever you want to share, someone who has the like discipline. And also you can even use it in your workplace. You can share what you know in your workplace with your colleagues, and of course they appreciate you. What are the advantages of peer-to-peer learning? Many as they are, but the few that we want to look at today, it enables us to democratize learning. It's democracy in learning. You share, you open up, what you sincerely believe in a certain discipline. It also helps to help others learn from our mistakes. Learning, we learn better when we make mistakes so that next time we know how to get out of it once we're in a mistake. So we all learn through mistakes and others correct us, and then we feel that we have upped our game. It also makes us knowledgeable. When you share more with your friends, with your colleagues, with your other forums, you become more knowledgeable because there are some of the things that we never learn in class. We learn them through sharing, and that is the advantage of peer learning. Now, I want us to take home very important points from peer-to-peer learning today, and to discuss the challenge of various scholarly topics frequently with others. This develops a critical mindset. You learn to criticize, and you criticize, of course, constructive criticism. It brings out the best of you. And of course, when you become knowledgeable, then knowledge, we say, is power, but it can be powerless if you are not passing it on to others. It can't just sit in you. It's more pleasurable, it's enjoyable when you pass it to others. That's point number one, take home. What I want us to take home today from this today again is we develop our social skills by working with others. The personal growth comes that way, social skills. You know how to socialize with others because you're going out there to get more information from them, to get information, to get guided, to get unstuck. So your social skills become sharpened each time you share with others. The other point that we can take home, among many others, of course, this is not all, is to learn to give and receive feedback from others. If you do not get feedback from others, you don't know where your work stands. You do not know how you're working in your journey. And of course, we say, when you hear what people give you, that is what you are, and that's what you walk away with. So it makes learning very, very easy and very, very pleasurable. I want to end this talk here to welcome you and thank you all for participating. And that brings us to the end of this presentation today. And so I welcome you to the board. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isabella. I have learned a lot. I think one of the fears I used to have with peer-to-peer learning is if I share with my friends, will they actually be able to help me, or must I always get a teacher? So my question to you is, this training you've given us is timely because tomorrow we have a Shut Up and Write session where peers are coming together to just sit in the morning and write. And then how then can we increase supporting each other? For instance, after we are done writing for like 2 hours, in what ways can we increase our peer support and maybe allay the fears? So like for me, I used to think in the past, I used to think, oh no, my question is so hard. I have to get like somebody like a lecturer who is an expert, who understands this. But what would you say about how some steps we can take to support each other as peers?
Thank you for that, Joyce. As we've said, when you learn, you sharpen your skills. Tomorrow we have a Shut Up and Writing. After that, of course, we are sharing what did you achieve through your shutting up and learning. Some people will come up with different feedbacks, what they did. Some say I did more than, they will share this. And then you have others coming in to critique the way you have handled that, you know, developing a critical thinking. That's where that comes from. And it's not always that you will meet somebody else to come up and help you. Or I know you did that perhaps, for example, someone will say, I did it from home. There was a lot of interruption. I didn't do much. We should support each other and say, okay, maybe next time we can change position. Maybe next time we can prepare ourselves in a quiet place so that we are more productive and we produce more. So there's always some adjustments here and there through getting feedback by sharing how you shut up and wrote, and then only you can get feedback. And therefore, peer-to-peer, to be honest, to say whether you benefited from that shut up or not, and you will grow through such. Thank you.
Right. I want to pose a question now to Anne and Jeremiah. Karibuni sana. Yeah, I was just wondering. Yeah, I was wondering, have you ever been in a situation where you know that whatever question you're asking your peer, you feel like they're going to criticize and have a different opinion? So like what Isabella is saying is so typical, because we mostly, especially I think in Kenya, our culture is like we really want to have people agreeing with what we are saying. But have you had instances where you went to help a friend, or a friend was helping you, and what they told you was completely opposite of you know, agreeing with you, like disagreeing with you, and was that helpful?
Of course, there is two ways to that. One to a
all right. Oh, Isabella, hold on. I had asked Anne and Jeremiah. I just want to hear if you know, they've encountered this before we come back to you.
Okay.
Yes, I've encountered that. And it has been two ways. It has been positive or being given totally a different view or point that probably I did not agree with. So, okay, well, when the person did not, if the person who was advising me at that particular place or criticizing me, that probably what I thought about was not exactly what she thought about, well, I absorbed, and then later on decided also to seek a second opinion about it and clarify my doubts. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, quite interesting. How about Jeremiah and Lee? I see Lee, you're back. Karibu, Lee.
Thanks, Wangari. Thanks, Anne. Thanks, Isabella. Sorry, I joined in late, and I have not followed the conversation. Probably I cannot be able to respond now because I don't know clearly what has transpired. But let me follow up and see what to comment on. Peer-to-peer learning is a good topic. I'm quite interested.
Yes. Yeah. Today we are talking on how to help support each other more. Yeah, Lee, are you able to contribute? Have you had instances of peer support? Was it a challenging one? Was it easy?
Well, thank you, Joyce, and thank you, Isabella and the team. Sorry I came in late. You can hear me?
Yes, very loud, clear.
Great. I think I would only give an example of the advantages of peer-to-peer learning. I am in Mogadishu, and that is courtesy of peer-to-peer learning. A part of the exposure I'm getting in monitoring and evaluation in Mogadishu and later in Somaliland is all due to peer-to-peer learning. So I have this friend we've kept engaging with. He's in the education sector, but he has had experience in monitoring and evaluation. Now I have done the theory work, but I didn't have any experience. So he decided to help me learn peer-to-peer. So he just held my hand and gave me the exposure. So peer-to-peer learning has a lot of power, which we can really assume, but it can be very transformative. Thank you very much.
Wow. I can't believe you're reaching us from the Horn of Africa. You look like you're just here.
Thank you so much, Lee.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know it's very important to comment. Since people have had people who wanted to come to the session tomorrow, they said, "Oh, I don't even have anything to write now. What am I going to share with my peers?" You know, there's also that hesitancy of, "Do I have something to contribute to my peers? I don't feel like I'm good enough." You know, also that. Maybe you can comment on that.
Yes. There is a lot actually to learn, and perhaps if we learn how to constructively critique somebody's work, and of course that is encouraging. Like one of us has said yesterday, I didn't get her name, she said that someone comments in a way that puts you down. I would not really, what I would think is when someone comments about your work and they don't understand, perhaps they missed the point. They didn't understand, so they commented in their own way. But if someone understands your concern in your work, what area you need to be helped, I think if you understand what peer-to-peer is, then that is the way to come in and get them out of that stuck point. So I would look at it like it's not intentional, but that is maybe not understanding exactly how to go about it. But I would prefer and encourage us to be honest with somebody. If someone wants a feedback and I do not understand, rather than put them down or comment irrelevantly, it's better to understand where they come from so that they feel help. And I think that is what most of us get discouraged with, because I don't want to put out my issue, lest people think that I don't know anything. I don't want to appear not academic, you know, but I think it's good to open up. And by opening up is when you shape your skills over time. Anybody else with something to add on?
Yes, Isabella, I could add something. Well, looking at the global picture, we are moving more towards a multidisciplinary approach to learning, and that means that you would easily find yourself maybe with people from a different field, and they want to glean from the experiences. So peer-to-peer learning would really blow up this opportunity quite well, and also the need for a more consultative approach in learning.
Oh, thank you, Lee.
I now want to make a comment. I think I've followed what is taking place.
Yeah.
Wangari, I think I'm getting the trend. Personally, I think peer-to-peer learning is quite important. I've benefited quite a lot from that. I've shared my work with colleagues, and when they make comments, I think it has been quite useful. But again, on the other hand, peer-to-peer learning has been abused through mistrust and through issues like plagiarism. Somebody shares his work. I know a colleague who shared his work with another colleague in the name of supporting each other. Then again, the person found the work was published, and now was being told to quote the other person. And I think those are bad instances where peer-to-peer learning has been abused.
Yeah, let's troubleshoot those two issues, mistrust and plagiarism. And I think Anne also mentioned that sometimes you go from person to person, you get so many opinions. I think in my experience, sometimes you don't even know which one to follow, you know, if you're in the court of public opinion asking your peers things. So what can we do to resolve that? You know, there's always the risk anyway of plagiarism if you share your work, mistrust. I know, what do you think?
I think plagiarism is a criminal offense and is addressed in law. It's only that sometimes people do not want to take legal measures because of fear. Like now, if somebody has published your work, then it's like, oh, this was his work. Now, if you want to be safe, quote him if you want to continue the same project. Those are kind of things that probably are there. But I think plagiarism is a criminal offense, and scientists are supposed to be people of credibility. We need to reach out to our colleagues so that at least we build trust, so that at least as a community of scientists, it's good to agree to be people of integrity at personal level. Yeah. Not only relying on the legal aspect or relying on the law, but making it a commitment to yourself to trust people's work and also to be trusted with other people's work.
Just Jeremiah, before you, what then can we do? Because that is, of course, a real fear. The academic integrity is not really observed if someone you're sharing with to help you is stealing your work. What can we do? And we all know, even the thief knows that they are not supposed to steal your work, but they do it anyway. So when it comes to peer learning or sharing, then how do we solve that kind of dishonesty? Anybody else can?
I think you've both mentioned it, personal integrity. So me policing myself. Now, we now need to create communities where we know each other, we trust each other, we uphold that integrity. Then we have conversations when somebody, you know, has actually taken what does not belong to them without acknowledging, you know. That would be a straight up conversation. That's one thing I would do, you know, is ask them outright, you know. And now if I cannot arbitrate just one-on-one, then I'd have to involve maybe some witnesses, you know, yeah, for the same. But I think it all boils down to who I am as a person, who I want to associate with. Yeah. I think in the past, I made a few mistakes with collaborations. You know, I never really looked at the values of the people I was collaborating with. And I've been a victim, actually, of what Jeremiah is saying of, you know, somebody stealing my whole conference paper and publishing, just changing the name and putting their own name, you know. Yeah. So values, I think it comes down to our values, and that we can always continue to uphold each other with the values.
I concur with Joyce.
Yeah, go ahead, Anne.
I have something to contribute. Well, when it comes to peer-to-peer learning, I think for it to be encouraged, I think one of the discouragements that people do encounter is whereby they are not so sure if they ask something, they'll be not laughed upon. So I think that is usually just one of the reasons why not many people really uphold it. So feeling that you're in a safe space and everybody learns at some point. So that's just a contribution.
That's a really good point. And that's why AIDA Africa exists. We remove hierarchies. I think Isabella mentioned it so well. Same status, we are all here to learn. We have doctors, professors sitting alongside undergraduate students and all disciplines. You know, we remove hierarchies of discipline levels. And yeah, I think it will take such a new community. You know, we are the research leaders of today, you know, to actually change some of these cultural things. I think the biggest issue that intimidates students or researchers, especially in academia, is hierarchies. So the Journal Club is a space where these hierarchies can be broken down. I'm really grateful for Aurelia having started this. So, yeah, I think that's one way we just start a community where things work, you know, like tomorrow said, you know, for that possibility. We've only done it in a library situation. And so we have 2 more minutes. Yeah, maybe Isabella, you can make some closing remarks.
I want to take this opportunity to thank all of us for taking time to share. I think each one of us has picked something that the contributors have given. And to cap it all, I think it's better we learn academic integrity, all of us. We know it, but we have to learn it and conceptualize it well. We know that stealing academically is wrong. And first of all, we've got to be aware of the consequences of that if you are caught. Remember, this work which has been shared, others have read it. So if someone recognizes work has gone out there and they take you head on, of course, they have witnesses. Some have read your work. Your supervisors have read this. So imagine where that puts you academically is quite a very, very shameful thing to do. So the moment we learn to do that and let others develop confidence that they can trust us, then peer-to-peer learning is something very important all of us should embrace. Thank you, Joyce.
Oh, thank you. We still have 1 more minute. I don't know if any of us has any closing remarks.
I wanted to suggest that as a group of scientists in Kenya, probably around Kenya here. We can also have forums where we have collaborative science within our own country, where we meet in different sectors. I stay in Kisumu. We can have a meeting in Nairobi. We can have a meeting in another part of the country, so that we have that peer-to-peer learning, which is face-to-face, and is based on presentations. We can also address the issues of plagiarism, which is done in through writing.
All right, Jeremiah, let's have a side chat. That's a really good idea.
Yes.
So I appreciate you all for coming. And
one more thing, Joy.
Yeah, a few seconds. Yeah, go.
Yes. I'm looking out to collaborative publishing. Yeah, we can team up with a few of you to see what we can write. That's what our lecturers have been doing.